welcome everybody. This is Clinic Night number 2. We're going to try and keep these to every 2 weeks, and we're going to try and have a different theme every 2 weeks. We're planning some on text with Communicator. I've got another one planned with how to create interactive books and reading with Communicator. But if there are any specific topics that you would like us to cover and run a more informal Clinic Night type workshop, then you just have to message it on Facebook or email me directly. I'm just going to take the opportunity to introduce a good friend of mine called Chris Edson. Chris is one of our content developers within the Communicator team. He has an American accent and he's based out of Bergen. Chris.
Hello. Nice to see you all tonight, I guess. It is night over there in the UK, right?
Oh, you're in America at the moment, right?
Yes, I am over in Pittsburgh at the moment.
Good. So for those of you that haven't been to a clinic night before, the feeling is informal. We do not want you to sit silently in the audience. We really want you to ask questions. So we have some ground rules that we just laid out here just to make it obvious to you. It is informal. I think I've said that about 12 times already. These are not rehearsed webinars. They are off the cuff. We will try and answer your questions as they come, although we'll run through a few slides first just to set the scene. There's a chat window up on the right-hand side, which some of you are accessing already. You just click on that, type in your question, and we will monitor them as the session goes along. There are absolutely no stupid questions. Many of you are very, very new to Communicator or very, very new to AAC full stop. Many of you are also maybe had your devices for some time but haven't really got into the whole programming side of things. So I can guarantee you there are absolutely no stupid questions. Lots of different people with different levels of experience on the webinar tonight. If you do need to revisit particular information afterwards, then you're more than welcome to contact me directly. My email is hector.minto@tobiidynavox.com. You can email me and then I will direct your query to the correct person. This is the symbol clinic night. We are running different clinic nights, but the assumption we're making tonight is that you are using symbols with communication software at various levels. We will do a text communication and computer control one very soon for those people who are running Communicator with keyboards and full Windows control. Do allow us time to switch between the applications, and I'm going to be switching between my screen and Chris's screen. Chris, you're on Communicator 5. I'm on Communicator 4. So they're the rules for tonight. Great. The idea of the Clinic Night webinar is, as we say, interactive, and it's actually aimed at the parents. We have professionals on the line tonight. You are more than welcome. But the sorts of questions that parents ask us are very different from the sorts of questions that professionals ask us. This is a group of Rett syndrome mums that I was with last weekend. I know some of you are on the line, but it's aimed at you guys. I know when I was there were so many parents there asking me very specific questions, struggling to get going with the software. So yeah, this is for you. Okay, so we have Tobii Communicator 4 and Tobii Communicator 5, two different versions out there in the field. Many people already on 4, having for some time. We upgraded to Communicator 5 at the back end of last year, and there are various changes which we'll get through, but we might not. There are some very specific webinars if you go to our website to introduce you to Communicator 5 if you want a step-by-step walkthrough of the software. The file format is different in Communicator 4 to Communicator 5, and you can only go forwards. Chris, do you want to explain why we changed the file format?
Yeah, there were a lot of benefits for changing the file format. This is a zipped format, which means it's much smaller. Some of the symbol page sets could get to 300 megabytes, which takes quite a lot of time to load every time you would go into a new page or you try to open the page set. The zipped format is much smaller, much quicker to use. The files themselves are actually even smaller because of how we create the file behind the scenes before it's zipped. It also allows us better control over recovering files. Every so often something will happen. A device will shut down or become unplugged while you're saving a file, And the new CDDX format gives us the ability to possibly recover some data. Obviously, we can't promise. It depends on when the power went out or what happened exactly. But it gives us much better control over being able to recover things. It gives us better control over tracking internally, so we know and we can pinpoint exactly if someone on our end made a change to a page set, when that was, how that happened, and get that fixed if there's ever a problem.
Great. The main change was that we introduced a quick menu, which is also the right-click button on your mouse, or button 3 on the iSeries for those of you that have iSeries, that really quickly allows you to get into loads more functions within the software. It was also optimized for touchscreen, Chris, wasn't it? That was the other driving factor behind it. So whereas those of you in Communicator 4, when you press and hold your screen and right-click and you want to get into Review Ready-Mades or one of those tiny little buttons, you have to be really accurate. Now you can just use your finger and tap those buttons. When I'm describing to Communicator people, I generally use this line. If you can use PowerPoint, you can use Communicator. Communicator is a very, very easy bit of software based on the same kind of principles as Office, actually. So you're going to create pages, you're going to create buttons, you're going to create links between pages. The other way I describe it is that it's a software that has full authoring capability. Now, we offer two pieces of software from Tobii Dynavox. We have Compass and we have Communicator. Compass is more aimed at you kind of buying into the template, and you don't really create brand new pages from scratch. You can. It's a bit more technical to do it. But Communicator, if you're after kind of creating brand new novel resources, it has full authoring capability. You can really write whatever you want. Those of you on Communicator 4 who want to upgrade, there's a URL there. You can upgrade straightforwardly from Communicator 4 to Communicator 5 if you wish. There is no specific reason to do so if you're happy with the software you have. Okay, let's move on. So, choosing a vocabulary, or what resources are available within Tobii Communicator. Well, it now comes packed with all of our content, and so there should be a fit for what you're trying to achieve with your communication aid. This top line that you see here, these are packages that come from Communicator 4. They've been out for a long time. They're extremely popular. Sono Primo is our page set aimed at nursery years or kindergarten years, kids 3 to 7. All of the topics in there are about play. I'm going to give you some demos of each of these in a short while. Sono Flex is when we start to get into more kind of categorized language. Sono Lexis gives us pure symbol, so use good symbol communicators. Literacy when people start to move on to spelling. And then up at the top there, we've got Sonoscribe and Sonokey when people are becoming good at spelling, good at word prediction, good at word recognition. We've also introduced with Communicator 5 only a new line of vocabularies, which were designed to give people all across the world a start with communication. So they've been simplified down, but they're extremely easy to translate into other languages. Chris, did you want to say a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the new page sets are designed to be simpler to use and simpler to edit. And one of the main benefits of making them simpler to edit is that we've been able to translate them into more languages than they've previously been. Communicator is offered in, I think, 12 languages, but the Sono products were primarily offered in 4. So now we have a full offering of the simple pathways for all languages we offer Communicator in. And there are some differences. You may find you like one better than the other for other reasons, but mostly it was also trying to make it simple to edit for you. If you want to make changes to a page set, it's not as much scripting and you don't have to worry about some of the more obscure things.
Okay. So the other main feature of Communicator, and we'll get into more of the live demo in a moment, is that both Communicator 4 and Communicator 5 have what's called a home page. we really don't believe in locking our users into one specific language page set. You can do it, you can set something up as your start page so that people stay within a few pages that you've set for them. But the whole idea of this home page that you get within Communicator is that you allow people to come in and out of different styles of page sets, maybe some games, maybe some communication pages, maybe some more functional pages like music players or photo viewers. But the idea is that you guys can very quickly set up a simplified desktop for people to jump in and out of. Extremely easy to change links to pages and drop them in and out depending on what your mood is on a particular day. So it's Mother's Day in the UK Sunday. I think lots of people are talking about Mother's Day today. If you wanted to create a new page set full of messages for Mother's Day for all you mums on the line, you could very quickly create that and then just drop it in temporarily on your home page, ready for your kids to use, without disrupting all of their other page sets. Okay, the page set the home page has changed somewhat in Communicator 4 to Communicator 5. Chris, do you want to just talk about the reason to do that? I'm just going to check the chat window, guys, because I can see a few questions, but I'm not able to access them. So when you do post your questions or type something in the chat window, make sure you're typing it to the entire audience, okay? But Chris, if you could just deal with changes to the homepage.
Yeah, so in Communicator 5, we actually made changes to the entire navigation system for how, as a caregiver, you would navigate around and access different sections of the homepage and settings. We wanted to make everything a little bit more touch-friendly for you. So with the new quick menu, you can get around easier. And when we made the quick menu, we realized that we wanted the homepage to be a much stronger location than it previously was. In Communicator 4, you could set almost any page that you wanted as your home page, so it wasn't quite as helpful as a place to return back to. You didn't always, I mean, obviously you knew where you were going when you clicked home page, but it wasn't necessarily always going to be the navigation home for the user. Your home page could very well be Sonoki, and then you would have to exit through Sonoki and try to get back to what was known as the welcome guide in Communicator 4 to be able to then navigate to other page sets and find where you wanted to actually end up. So in Communicator 5, we wanted to always be able to have you two button clicks away from a navigation homepage and be able to guarantee that you'd be able to get where you need to go from there.
Great. Okay, so we're going to start talking about early symbol users, or people who use symbols to communicate. One of the big ethoses we have within the industry, I think, at the moment, or the field of AAC, is that early symbol users need to be modeled to. So the vocabularies that we show you now, the pre-made content that you get within Communicator, as much as the kids have to learn it, or the symbol users have to learn these page sets, you also have to learn these. They are going to learn by watching you learn. So whichever vocabulary you choose for your family member, it's really important that you know how to navigate around it and how to find the words to show them which buttons they would use in specific situations. The navigation and the jumping between different pages within a growing vocabulary is probably the hardest part to learn within any software. And the risk is that if you guys don't learn how to navigate and how to move between different page sets, is that people get locked within page sets or content that's too simple for them, or that they become too familiar with, and then they get bored and don't want to use AAC systems anymore. So whatever we show you now, and whichever pathway you take to go with your family member, just make sure you learn. We tend to make in any of our vocabularies, we tend to have topic words or categories. All of those topic words mean that you're talking about, those topics that we deal in mean that you're talking about the thing that's right here and now. So at bath time, we will have pages to do with bath time. But wherever you look within any of our vocabularies, you will always see core language available at all times: the I, the wants, the whats, the hows. Okay. Whatever vocabulary you choose, you have to learn. Okay, the other thing, before we get too much further into the live demo and showing you specific features, the right click, if you remember absolutely nothing else from this webinar and you go off to Programming Communicator, your right click is your best friend. Wherever you are, if you right click, you will get options to get yourself out of trouble. Okay, it's available everywhere. It allows you to do things magical like making buttons specifically non-selectable. It allows you to change the startup page that opens within your software. No matter where you are, if you press that, and when we say right click, that could be right click on the mouse, pressing button 3 with Communicator 5 on the I series, Control M on the keyboard, or press and holding your touchscreen, you will always be able to edit and make changes. Okay. This is the new offering that you get in Communicator 5, the edit button page. I've just got a quick question that I want to check. No questions, I don't think. Okay. Right, let's jump into Communicator. And I'm just going to spend a few minutes running you through the ready-made content. Okay, so if you remember that pathway up that we had just recently, you had Sono Primo as your entry-level page set. Sono Primo is a product in its own right. And it's aimed at, if I just unplug my headset for a moment, just check if everyone can still hear me. If I exit
Do you really
here,
want to exit?
I'm just going to go into my control panel. It's aimed at the here and now. So whenever we're starting children with communication pages, we know that we want to pull them into topic, so they've got some things to talk about. This might be their first experience with a communication aid. And so if we want to talk about playing at the playground, for example, we will offer a game like this.
Choose a seesaw partner. Girl.
Which is animated and gives the option of just play and fun.
Who's next?
It then takes us onto a visual scene so that we have our symbols in context. This allows children to press their symbols and hear that they give relevant messages to the setting.
Do you want to go on the seesaw with me? Watch me do it.
This then leads to conversations about going to the playground,
Hello.
at which point you're all meant to say hello.
I love to swing.
Ah, you like to go on the swing, do you? So this idea that we get the kids used to conversations being a two-way process. This then moves on to some games for the kids to play on their own and learn
Swing.
their symbols.
Climb. Push. Slide.
Okay. And then we get into our communication vocabularies.
I want playground.
Okay. You'll notice here are your core words in yellow,